Today we're going to make some bath bombs, and the ingredients include 2 cups of baking soda, 1 cup of Epsom salt, and 1 cup of citric acid. So to begin, just give it a little bit of a stir and make sure that some of the lumps come out. There might be some lumps from the citric acid or the Epsom salts. Once you have your dry ingredients all stirred together, if you're using a coloring that's a powder version, as this chromium is, this is the point at which you would add that coloring. So we're just going to add a tiny bit. Probably that was about half a teaspoon, if that. If you're going to use the liquid coloring, you would add that to your oil and add it just in a minute here. So we'll stir that in and make sure that the chromium color gets, oops, that's my fork. We'll stir that in and make sure that the chromium color gets mixed in really well. And I can see a few more lumps now that I've got the green powder coloring in. So we'll just squish those out. And I actually wouldn't mind a little bit of a swirl or variegation in colors, so I'm not going to worry about having it perfectly blended. Next, I'm going to add the oil, and so that is 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, or if you prefer, grapeseed oil. And we'll add some cypress essential oils to that. Okay, so we'll mix that just a tiny bit. And now when you're adding the essential oils to the dry ingredients, you're going to want to make sure that you keep it moving, because little bits could bubble up in terms of the citric acid when you add the liquid, and you don't actually want the citric acid to be causing that reaction right now. You want to save that for the bathtub. So if that happens, quickly stir dry ingredients into it and get that blended as quickly as you can, just adding a little bit at a time. Once you have everything stirred in, give the mixture a little test by scooping some up and hold it in your hand. Just give it a squeeze. Okay, so that's still a little bit crumbly, so we're going to add a little bit more oil to this mixture. Now that we've added a little bit more oil, I am going to just give it another check to see if the consistency is about right. And yeah, I would say that will do it. You want to be able to take a little bit in your hand and give it a squeeze and have it hold its form. So that should make for a very nice bath bomb. And now I'll show you how to actually put them into the molds and get them back out again. If you're going to use a metal mold, we can just use something like this. It's made for little cupcakes or mini cakes. And you just want to make sure that you've lightly greased the openings, and then you can take your mixture and just put a little bit into each one. I'll just do one to show you how this works. And you'll want to take your spoon and fill up 1 container or 1 little cup, and if you need to top it off, go ahead and add a little bit more. Make sure it's all packed in there fairly firmly. And get into the edges as well. Okay. Now that you have it all packed in, I've taken a little part of a pie plate, I guess, a metal aluminum pie plate, and I like to put it on the top and then flip it like this. And there you have your bath bomb. You can just slide it onto a cookie sheet with some wax paper and let it dry. If you're going to use silicone molds, you can fill them all up and just let them dry overnight. If you're going to use silicone molds like this, I would recommend leaving them in overnight, because I've found that since they have a little bit more give than the metal containers, they don't tend to pop out quite as easily if you try to take them out right away. So I just leave mine overnight and pop them out in the morning, and they are nice and firm and ready to go.